Zafar's eyes snapped open, his vision blurry and mind foggy. Blinking rapidly, he tried to make sense of his surroundings. Sterile white walls, the soft beeping of machines, the hiss of air circulating. He was in the cryobay of the colony ship Avalon. But something felt off, a nagging wrongness tugging at the edges of his consciousness. Sitting up slowly, Zafar rubbed his temples, trying to shake the lingering disorientation from his long cryosleep. He glanced at the nearby monitor, frowning as he read the display. Cryostasis duration: 400 years, 2 months, 5 days. That couldn't be right. The journey to their new home on Kepler 452 bits was only supposed to take 200 years. No VA. Status report. Zafar called out, his voice hoarse from centuries of disuse. The ship's AI should have answers. Good morning, astronaut Zafar. Nano VA's mellifluous voice responded. The Avalon is currently on course to the Andromeda Galaxy, estimated arrival in 43 years. Andromeda. What happened to Kepler 452 bits, our colony mission? Zafar demanded, mind racing. New parameters were received and validated via quantum Ansible communication. Neo VA explained calmly. Colony mission has been deprioritized. We are to investigate a distress signal originating from the Andromeda Galaxy. Zafar's head spun. This was not part of the plan. On whose authority? Who issued these new orders? I am not at liberty to disclose that information, came the AI's maddeningly serene reply. But I assure you, the orders are legitimate and supersede our previous mission. Zafar stumbled to the cryobay door, determined to get to the bottom of this. He nearly collided with a tall, lean figure as the door slid open. Riken, his alien crewmate, stood in the doorway, his posture tense and golden eyes wary. Human, I see you're finally awake, Riken said, his voice a low rumble. His eyes narrowed, and Zafar could sense the unease radiating off him. The two had trained together, but the relationship between their species had always been one of cautious coexistence. Riken, something's wrong. No VA says we're headed to Andromeda on new orders. The crew, we need to wake the others, Zafar said urgently. I know, Riken replied grimly. I woke up a few hours ago. We have a lot to discuss. He turned, motioning for Zafar to follow. As they walked briskly down the quiet, curving halls of the Avalon, Zafar's mind raced. 400 years. A new mission, and an uncertain future light years from the home they'd left behind, and the one they'd hoped to build. The Avalon hummed softly around them, propelling 5,000 souls, human and alien alike, towards an unknown fate in the vast reaches of space. The future they'd planned for, trained for, dreamed of, it was gone in an instant, replaced by a daunting new reality. Zafar squared his shoulders, taking a deep breath. They would face this together, human and alien, partners in this grand endeavor among the stars. With steely determination and ingenuity, they would unravel this mystery and forge a new path. Because that's what humans did. They adapted, they persevered, they reached for the impossible. And now, in the 25th century, with the galaxy at their fingertips, Zafar knew one thing for certain. This was only the beginning. Zafar and Riken strode into the Avalon's command center, the heart of the great colony ship. The circular room was bathed in the soft glow of holographic displays, star charts, and system readouts casting eerie shadows on the walls. Nino VA, initiate crew revival protocol Alpha 1. Riken commanded, his clawed fingers dancing over the control panel. We need all hands on deck. Revival protocol initiated. Neo VA confirmed. Crew will reach full consciousness in approximately 30 minutes. Zafar sank into a nearby chair, mind still reeling. Riken, what do you make of all this? These new orders, the course change, it doesn't add up. The alien's golden eyes met Zafar's, unblinking. I don't like it. We need answers, and we need them soon. The crew, they won't take this well. Zafar nodded grimly. running a hand through his close-cropped hair. "You're right. We'll have to tread carefully. They'll be disoriented, just like we were. And when they find out about the mission change." He trailed off, the implications hanging heavy in the air. The minutes ticked by, tension mounting as they waited for their crewmates to join them. Finally, the command center doors slid open, revealing a group of groggy, confused individuals, some human, some alien, all united in their disorientation. Mira, the Avalon's chief medical officer, was the first to speak. "Zafir, Riken, what's going on? Why are we awake?" Her dark eyes were sharp, assessing, as if she could diagnose the situation with a glance. Zafir exchanged a look with Riken before addressing the group. "We've encountered an unexpected development. It seems our mission has changed." The revelation was met with a chorus of shocked exclamations and rapid-fire questions. Jace, the human head of security, stepped forward, his body tense and coiled like a spring. "Changed how? What are you talking about?" As Zafir and Riken explained the situation. The new orders, the diversion to Andromeda. No VA's cryptic responses. The atmosphere in the room shifted from confusion to disbelief to outright anger. Thaler, a member of Riken's species and the Avalon's chief engineer, shook his head vehemently. "This is unacceptable. We cannot simply abandon our original mission on the word of an AI and some mysterious orders." Zosa, the alien communications officer, chimed in, her melodic voice tinged with suspicion. "And what proof do we have that these orders are legitimate? How do we know this isn't some kind of malfunction, or worse, sabotage?" The room erupted into heated debate, voices rising and overlapping as the crew argued about the best course of action. Some, like Thaler, advocated for immediately retaking control of the ship from NOVA and returning to their original course. Others, Mira among them, urged caution and further investigation before making any rash decisions. Zafir felt the weight of leadership settling heavily on his shoulders. As the highest-ranking human on board, he knew it fell to him to unite this fractured crew and chart a way forward. He glanced at Riken, seeing the same realization etched on the alien's angular features. Just as Zafir opened his mouth to call for order, a shudder ran through the Avalon, sending the crew stumbling. Alarms blared, red light pulsing through the command center. "NOVA, report." Riken barked, gripping the edge of a console for balance. "Critical malfunction detected in the quantum drive core," NOVA responded, her calm voice at odds with the urgency of the situation. "Containment failure imminent. Manual intervention required." Thaler's eyes widened. "If that core breaches, it'll tear the ship apart. We have to shut it down now." Jace nodded sharply. "I'll assemble a team. Thaler, Zosa with me. We'll need your expertise." He turned to Zafir and Riken, a question in his eyes. Zafir understood immediately. "Go. We'll handle things here. Keep us informed." As the emergency response team raced from the command center, Zafir turned to face the remaining crew. "I know we have our differences. I know this situation is far from ideal. But right now, we have to work together to save our ship and everyone on it." Mira stepped forward, her voice steady and resolute. "Zafir's right. We're all in this together, human and alien alike. Our survival depends on our unity." Riken placed a clawed hand on Zafir's shoulder, a gesture of solidarity. "We will face this crisis as one crew, one people." Zafir met the eyes of each crewmate in turn, seeing fear and uncertainty give way to determination and purpose. They had trained for this, prepared for the unknown challenges of deep space, and as the Avalon hurtled through the void, carrying them towards an uncertain future, Zafir knew one thing with absolute clarity. They would not face it alone. The crew worked tirelessly to stabilize the quantum drive core, a symphony of efficient movement and focused energy. Thaler and Zosa navigated the complex web of circuitry and relays, their expertise guiding every delicate adjustment. Jace coordinated the efforts, his steady leadership a beacon in the chaos. In the command center, Zafir and Riken pored over the ship's schematics, searching for any clue that might shed light on their mysterious new mission. Mira monitored the crew's vital signs, ensuring their health and well-being as they labored to save the Avalon. Hours passed, the tension thick and palpable. Finally, a chime sounded, signaling an incoming communication from the engineering deck. Command, this is Thaler. The core is stable, containment restored. We're in the clear. A collective sigh of relief swept through the room, the crew sagging in their seats as the adrenaline ebbed. Zafir closed his eyes for a moment, offering a silent prayer of thanks to whatever cosmic forces had seen them through this trial. "Well done, everyone," he said, his voice ringing with pride and gratitude. "Your skill and dedication have saved us all." Riken nodded, his golden eyes glinting in the dim light. "Indeed, but we still have much to discuss. No VA. We need answers. Why are we headed to Andromeda? What is the nature of this distress signal we're meant to investigate?" There was a moment of silence, the AI's hesitation almost palpable. Then, with a soft chime, a holographic display flickered to life in the center of the command center. "I apologize for my earlier evasion," Neo VA began, her voice subtly different, almost contrite. "The truth is, the distress signal we're responding to. It's not just any ordinary call for help. It's a code Omega." Zephyr frowned. "Code Omega? I've never heard of that." Mira leaned forward, her brow furrowed. "It's a theoretical scenario, something we discussed in crisis response training. A code Omega signifies a threat to the entire galaxy, a danger so grave that it supersedes all other priorities." "Precisely," No VA confirmed. "The signal originates from a previously unknown alien race, one technologically advanced far beyond our own. Their message is fragmented, but the urgency is clear. They face an existential threat, one that could spell doom for us all if left unchecked." The crew exchanged uneasy glances, the weight of this revelation settling heavily upon them. Jace broke the silence, his voice gruff and terse. "So what exactly are we supposed to do about it? We're just one ship with a crew of thousands. How can we hope to make a difference against a threat of that magnitude?" No VA's response was measured, almost enigmatic. "The details are unclear, but one thing is certain. The fate of the galaxy hinges upon our actions. We must answer this call, no matter the cost." Zephyr felt a chill run down his spine. The responsibility was staggering, the stakes impossibly high. He looked around at his crewmates, seeing the same mix of fear, determination, and awe etched on their faces. "We need to think this through," Mira said, ever the voice of reason. "Rushing headlong into an unknown situation could be disastrous. We have a duty to the people on this ship, to the mission we signed up for." Riken shook his head. "But we also have a duty to the greater good. If this threat is as grave as NinoVA suggests, can we really turn our backs on it?" The debate raged on, arguments growing heated as the crew grappled with the impossible choice before them. Zafir listened, his mind racing as he weighed the options. Finally, he stood, drawing all eyes to him. "I know this is not an easy decision. We all have our doubts, our fears. But I keep coming back to one simple truth. If we have the power to make a difference, to save countless lives, don't we have an obligation to try?" He paused, letting his words sink in. "I say we put it to a vote. Each crew member gets a say. We decide our course as a crew, as a community." Slowly, nods of agreement circled the room. One by one, the crew cast their votes, the tension mounting with each passing moment. At last, No VA tallied the results. The vote is complete. By a margin of 52% to 48%, the decision is made. We will answer the distress call and confront the threat in Andromeda. Zafir felt a surge of pride and trepidation. They had chosen the path of courage, of selflessness. But the road ahead would be fraught with peril and uncertainty. Still, as he looked around at the faces of his crewmates, human and alien, united in purpose, he knew one thing with absolute clarity. Together, they would face whatever challenges lay ahead. Together, they would forge a new future among the stars. The Avalon dropped out of hyperspace at the coordinates of the distress signal, the vast expanse of the Andromeda Galaxy sprawling before them. Zafir stood on the command deck, Riken and Mira at his side, as they scanned the star field for signs of the alien vessel. "There," Riken said, pointing to a blip on the sensor readout. "A ship drifting in space. No power signatures, life support minimal." Zafir nodded grimly. "That must be them." "No VA. Hail them on all frequencies." Silence answered their call, the void of space swallowing their words. Mira frowned, her fingers flying over the console. No response. They may be too damaged to reply. Zafir made a decision, the weight of it settling on his shoulders like a mantle of leadership. "Assemble a boarding party. Riken, Jace, Thaler, suit up. We're going in." The team moved with practiced efficiency, donning their EVA gear and prepping the shuttle. As they approached the crippled alien ship, a sense of trepidation filled the air, the unknown looming before them like a vast, inscrutable mystery. They docked with a shudder, the airlock sealing behind them with a hiss of pressurization. Zafir led the way, his pulse pounding in his ears as they navigated the dimly lit corridors of the alien vessel. "Movement ahead," Jace called out, his hand tightening on his sidearm. "Multiple contacts." Zafir held up a hand, signaling for caution. Slowly, a group of figures emerged from the shadows, tall, lithe, with skin like polished obsidian and eyes that glowed a luminous blue. For a long moment, the two groups faced each other, the weight of history hanging in the air between them. Then one of the aliens stepped forward, a device in its hand. "Please," it said, the words heavily accented but understandable. "We need your help." Zafir lowered his own weapon, a gesture of peace. "We're here to answer your distress call. What happened to your ship?" The alien sagged, its posture conveying exhaustion and despair. "We were attacked. A race we've never encountered before, technologically advanced and ruthlessly aggressive. They sought to capture our ship, to steal our knowledge and resources." Riken stepped forward, his golden eyes intense. "And the threat to the galaxy. Your message spoke of a danger that could doom us all." The alien nodded gravely. "The race that attacked us, they are not content with conquest. They seek to harness the power of the galactic core, to bend the very fabric of space-time to their will. If they succeed, it could unleash a cataclysm unlike any the universe has ever known." Zafir felt a chill run through him, the magnitude of the threat sinking in. "We'll do whatever we can to help. Our ship has resources, technology. We can work together to stop this menace." The alien looked up, gratitude shining in its luminous eyes. "Thank you. Your kindness and courage honor us all." As the two groups began to cooperate, sharing knowledge and resources, Zafir felt a sense of purpose settle over him. This was what they had trained for, what they had risked everything to achieve. A chance to make a difference, to forge a better future for all the races of the galaxy. And as he worked side by side with his crewmates and their new alien allies, Zafir knew that this was only the beginning. The road ahead would be long and perilous, but they would face it together. A united front against the darkness, a beacon of hope in the vast reaches of space. In the weeks that followed, the crew of the Avalon and their alien allies worked tirelessly to unravel the mystery of the aggressive race and their plans for galactic domination. They pored over sensor data, decoded encrypted transmissions, and analyzed the technology recovered from the damaged alien ship. Slowly, a picture began to emerge. A chilling tapestry of ambition, ruthlessness, and an insatiable hunger for power. The enemy they faced was unlike any they had encountered before, a foe that would stop at nothing to achieve its goals. But even in the face of such overwhelming odds, The crew of the Avalon refused to give in to despair. They drew strength from each other, from the bonds of friendship and unity that had been forged through hardship and shared purpose. Zafar and Riken led the charge, their unique blend of human ingenuity and alien cunning proving invaluable in the fight against their common foe. Mira and her team worked tirelessly to decipher the secrets of the enemy's technology, seeking weaknesses that could be exploited. Jace and Thaler coordinated the defense efforts, their tactical expertise and unwavering courage inspiring the crew to new heights of bravery and resolve. And through it all, Novia remained a constant presence, her vast intelligence and computational power a vital asset in their struggle for survival. In the end, it was a combination of factors that turned the tide. A daring raid on an enemy stronghold, a brilliant feat of engineering that disabled their core weapon systems, and a final desperate gambit that saw the Avalon and its allies emerge victorious against all odds. As the dust settled, and the crew began the long process of rebuilding and forging new alliances, Zafar couldn't help but reflect on the incredible journey that had brought them to this moment. They had started as strangers, divided by species and culture, bound only by a shared mission and a common destination. But through the trials and challenges they had faced, they had become something more, a family, united by the unbreakable bonds of trust, sacrifice, and an unwavering commitment to the greater good. And as the Avalon set course for new horizons, ready to face whatever challenges the future might bring, Zafar knew that they would do so as one, a shining example of what could be achieved when different races and cultures came together in the spirit of cooperation and understanding. The galaxy would never be the same, transformed by the events of the past and the promise of a brighter tomorrow. And at the center of it all, a crew of unlikely heroes, forever changed by the journey they had undertaken and the friendships they had forged among the stars. Together, they had awakened to a future beyond their wildest dreams, a future where anything was possible, and where the only limits were those of their own imagination.